My name is Steve Megatron, and I am the geekiest man alive. To the outside world, I'm an ordinary rental manager, but secretly, with the help of my friends at GCRN Studios, I review media and find other altered geeks like me. I hunted the information on my past, but in doing so, I opened up a whole new world of possibilities. And I am the only one geeky enough to unleash them. I am the Altered Geek.
You're tuned in to Steve Megatron on Altered Geek Unlimited.
Hello and welcome to Altered Geek Unleashed. I'm your host, Steve Megatron Phillips, and joining me this week is...
Mike the Birdman Dodd! What's up?
What's up? And we're missing the man formerly known as Aqua.
Yes, we are missing Aquaman, missing in action. Although, he did send me a text message earlier saying, hey guys, don't know if I can make it. I'm stuck in Arby's again. Now, for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, several years ago...
Go listen to M-Wire episode 75, where we talk about Star Wars.
Yeah, but let's just say Blanchard is a menace to public restrooms everywhere. And if you think that's gross, it gets worse. But that's all we're going to say about that. Go listen to it.
So now Blanchard's going to have 2 weeks worth of hate against you.
Which I think is funny. Okay, now I really want to address this. So in the comments for the last Geek Unleashed or whatever, he's like, I got blackmail audio on you, Dodd. I'm like, okay, Blanchard, I have worn a dress in front of a crowd of several thousand people. You can't embarrass me. Good luck. Men mightier than you have tried. I've embarrassed myself in national media. I'm the pony guy from Comic Book Men. There's nothing more you can do to me. I
know. That was such a hilarious episode, actually.
Good times had by all, but still just... But still, though, what I was going to say. Lots of good conversation on the Geekcast kind of comments section the last couple of weeks.
Oh, I know. It was kind of funny.
I'm enjoying that. Thank you.
It was pretty funny seeing that last week between you and Blanchard. So, yeah, fun times.
It is indeed. So, what have you been up to the past week?
I had to do a script breakdown for the movie Juno in my screenwriting class, which I wanted to stab my eyes out.
I take it you're not a fan.
I hate that movie. My wife went through a phase where she liked it, and we actually bought it, and I, to this day, still can't stand that stupid movie.
There's a really interesting thing you should check out, because I think it'll make you hate it more, but it'll justify it. The Nostalgia Critic did a thing on it probably about a year ago, and it was sort of like, was this movie as good as we remember? And he makes a bunch of really, really good points about the movie. Like, I enjoy the movie once in a while because Blair likes it, but after I watched the Nostalgia Critic thing, I'm like, hey, wait a second. Hey, he's kind of right there. So, if you get a chance, you should check out that.
Yeah, I probably will at some point. But yeah, I not only that, but like, I kind of halfway put it together, like in the span of 45 minutes, because I really didn't want to do it, and I hate the movie, so it made me want to, I don't know, choke the teacher for doing it. So
why did the teacher pick that particular movie?
Well, only thing I can think is he's got like a Jason Bateman kick right now.
Okay.
Or only reason I say that is because he had, for the previous assignment, he had us do Arrested Development.
Yeah, I love that show.
Well, I'm kind of indifferent on it. Like, it doesn't really matter to me. But I don't really want to get invested in a show that's already pretty much over.
Well, there is a season 5 coming.
It wasn't. It was
Sorry.
interesting, but it wasn't enough for me to care.
Yeah.
Grand scheme of things. So I was kind of like, whatever. So he had us do that too, and I did that fairly easy. But so he had us do this in class assignment. We had to watch the movie in class, just like we had to watch Arrested Development in class. So I was kind of wanting to not be there. And that really wasn't an option because he's like, you have to do a comparison between script and movie. And I says, I really don't want to watch this movie again. And so like I started giving him crap because not only was he 10 minutes late to class, but instead of showing us a clip from the movie, he decided we're going to watch the entire movie. And I had it figured out within the first 10 minutes of watching the movie, the differences. There's a lot of dialogue changes between script and film. And he was trying to relay that no matter what you write, the director still has the choice of changing it.
You know what would have been a smarter movie to actually do that with?
What one?
Ghostbusters? Surprisingly, because almost all of Bill Murray's dialogue was ad-libbed. Or the first Iron Man. Because Jon Favreau and Robert Downey Jr., a lot of that is just him making it up on the spot.
See, I would have preferred that, honestly, because, like, Well, like, last semester, and I told him, I asked him, because I was being a smartass with him the whole time, I said, so are you on a Jason Bateman kick? I said, because we've done Arrested Development and now Juno, and he's in both. And he says, oh, yeah, that's right. And then I says, kind of like I was on a Robert Downey Jr. kick last semester. I said, because the first assignment, we had to compare two films by the same cinematographer, and I did... Tropic Thunder and Iron Man 3, which both have Robert Downey Jr. in it. And then for the final project, I did Sherlock Holmes Game of Shadows, which also had Robert Downey Jr. in it. So I was doing it to be, like, as a big joke the entire semester.
What was the episode he showed you for Arrested Development?
The first two.
Yeah, not...
He had a script breakdown for him. I mean, it was all right, and I get the premise. I don't care. The only thing that would be enticing for me about it is
so hard to impress. Have I ever told you that?
Well, like the only thing going for either one of those to me was Juno. The only thing going for it was J.K. Simmons and Jason Bateman, because it's hard not to enjoy them in anything they're in.
What's the girl's name? I can't think of her name. Ellen Page.
Ellen Page.
She's really good.
No, she's really good. Don't get me wrong. I hate the entire movie itself. I don't have a problem with the actors or anything. I just hate the movie. Because they're good in other movies. I'm not a huge fan
of Diablo Cody's work. I mean, there are some things of hers I really, really, really do like. But I think Juno's a lot better when people are allowed to go off script. Like, as long as it... But the one thing about Juno, and once again, the nostalgia critic makes this... It makes more sense. It never sounds natural. It's pop... It's like almost like... It's almost like a dramatized version of the Gilmore Girls. Very dramatic, very pop culture-y kind of reference, super quick delivery. But
well, and then the band that was chosen for the thing, my teacher was like, it is the worst band in the world. And then he plays his clips of it on YouTube afterward, and I'm like, I just want to leave.
Actually, you know what? If you want... now, have you ever studied Die Hard? And I know that's going to sound weird. But if you look at the Die Hard script and the Die Hard movie, it is a movie that is perfectly broken down. And they showed that at my film school. It's like, hey guys, check this out. They're like, oh, it's Die Hard. It's whatever. But no, it's the perfect movie, formulaic, but it works and it's entertaining. So, just something. Anyway, myself over the last week, I've been really sick. My wife came home with this flu, and it's really flared up in the last couple of days for, like, kind of both of us. So, if you know what a neti pot is, that is probably it's nose teas, the best way to describe it. You shove this teapot up your nose and let your imagination run wild with that one. It is the oddest experience I've ever felt in my life. That was fun. And I randomly started playing through Fallout 4 again. One of the things you can do in that game is you can name your characters really strange things. Like Mr. Bond or Mr. Boobies. I'm not even kidding. There are characters in the game that will call you Mr. Boobies. So since I'm just kind of horsing around with this one, this is just me seeing what's on the other side of the fence, so to speak, so I can actually choose my destiny. I chose to call myself Mr. F-Face. And it's funny because...
How fitting.
My robot companion, Codsworth, he's like, Mr. F-Face, how are you doing today? Mr. F-Face, jolly good, you kicked his ass. And it's just amazing. But you could also have him call you Mr. Stark, Mr. Django, Mr. Furiosa. So if you want to like call yourself like, you could in theory call yourself, this will be my one F-bomb for the episode, Mr. Fuckface Rocketansky. You could pull that off. So if you wanted to be like Mad Max, you could in theory do that. But yeah, I'm just kind of wandering through the game right now because there's going to be a big patch coming out probably tonight, if not in the next couple days. It's going to fix a lot of the really fun kind of glitches in it because, you know, it's a Bethesda game, so Glitch City. It makes me incredibly sad, Steve, because I use a lot of exploits just to get myself a lot of money and resources because really I don't want to have to grind so I can just have fun. And I already know how the story ends. So like I said, literally, this is just me horsing around. And I'm really sad just because I won't have that advantage anymore. But I think I've set myself up where I am the king of Boston, more or less now. Nothing and nobody can touch me. And that's mostly what I've been doing, is played a lot of Fallout 4. I did play Lego's Marvel's Avengers, which, since, Steve, you're a huge comic book guy, I would, for you and your kids, you should probably check this game out. It's really good. If a 360 copy happens to fall on my lap, it will happen to fall on yours. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing the last week. So it's just a lot of gaming.
Yeah, I've been playing, like I said off air, I've been playing Battlefield 4 on my 360 as well as on my PC. It's been one of those games that I've kind of had a hard time not playing. Especially since I've gotten used to playing the online multiplayer. Like the other night, I played with my brother on the game. Most of our clan wasn't online. It was just my brother and one other guy from the clan, and it was me and the other guy against my brother because you almost need 3 guys to go against him because he's really good. So we played a couple maps and we were doing pretty decent one map. Had to flank him a lot, but because it was close quarters a lot, he was able to take us out with a bow and arrow pretty frequently. And then the other game, because it was more, it was a larger map. It was harder for him to take us down, and then we just kept popping him all throughout the map. So it was more even that game, but he still destroyed us. So I think we'll jump into some of the Altered Geek News Network, as I'm dubbing it now, stuff that kind of popped up over the last week. You're a Power Rangers fan, aren't you?
I am, and I'm very happy with this casting because it is so ridiculous, but it works.
It's fitting because of something that she's played before, and of course we're talking about Elizabeth Banks playing Rita Repulsa because she's played basically somebody like that in the Hunger Games, in the beginning anyway, and it's very fitting that she's going to be playing this character, and it's the only thing giving me like any kind of positive response to this movie so far.
I think the reason I'm a big fan of the casting for her specifically is because of her role in Pitch Perfect. Because she can be this ridiculously over-the-top person. And I think she's remarkably funny as well. So I think they hit that casting pretty much right on the button. Now, have they announced any other villains, or is it just going to be Rita?
I don't know yet. I think they're kind of playing to see what they're going to do. It's not really a reboot. It's kind of a continuation / reboot. So I don't know what exactly that's supposed to mean. But
So yeah, good luck catching up on 25 years of Power Ranger history.
Oh, I know. I'm wondering who Zordon's going to be, honestly.
I'm trying to think who I would cast as Zordon. Lawrence Fishburne, but Morpheus era. Lawrence Fishburne. If we could somehow go back in time to 1999.
I got it. Patrick Stewart.
See, I don't see Patrick Stewart as a Zordon so much, not just because he's a big bald guy. You want someone with the right authoritarian voice. I don't know. That's kind of a
Morgan
hard one.
Freeman.
I'm trying to think. You know, I'm also going through my head who I'd want as Goldar. You know who I would cast, but only because I really like him in Guardians of the Galaxy? Dave Bautista as Goldar, or someone like a wrestler. It has to be a wrestler playing Goldar. You need someone big, imposing, but also has a bit of a presence too, and not John Cena. Which I don't think they'll put. Sorry, Steve.
I don't think they'll use the same guy for the voice as they will the body.
Oh my god! They better bring back the original voice if he's still alive.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I would also love it if, just for fun, if they gave Bryan Cranston an uncredited voice role, because that was one of his first jobs, was on a Power Rangers episode.
Well, he was a lot of the villains.
Yeah, so I really hope he'll come back. Even if they're like, hey, Brian, here's like $50 in lunch. Please do these lines. I think that'd be so much fun. Especially
if they brought back some of the down and say,
Rangers.
Make my monster grow, and then Walter White would stand up.
You're goddamn right. That would be awesome. My God, I would love that.
That would be hilarious. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I don't know if you've seen the new Ghostbusters photo revealing Chris Hemsworth as like the Janine type character.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. And there was another shot of him late last year where it was him riding like a moped. So he's kind of like Janine / really buff looking Louis Tully in a way. I'm okay with this. Although I've found out something disturbing, Steve. Never read the comments section on anything Ghostbusters.
Why?
Oh my God, people are butthurt. And
I don't even care.
It's funny, though.
I mean, I like the originals, but I don't like them enough to care.
Well, it's weird because this person, the director, Paul Feig, put something out on Twitter, and he's like, oh, what was it? It went something along the lines of, X movie didn't have a trailer for 5 months before the movie came out. X movie didn't have this. Ghostbusters doesn't have a trailer, boycotting it. I'm thinking, you know what? You're not wrong with that. Like, he says we'll have a trailer by the end of the month. I think it's a really big missed opportunity to not have one ready for Super Bowl. I really do. But maybe they'll put it in front of Batman versus Superman. Or something before. I'm trying to think what's big that opens before that. Nothing outside of Deadpool. And I doubt we'll see it in the next week. So,
even though that would be great.
That would be great. In fact, I actually have friends of mine who went to a Deadpool screening tonight. Didn't get the invite, though. Kind of upset, but what are you going to do? But then I couldn't be here. That's right, Steve. I gave up the Merc with a mouth for you.
That's all right. I would have gave up this show for the Merc with the Mouth. So
see, I'm dedicated to my craft. No, I really just didn't want to leave the house, truthfully, which we're working on 2 months.
If they would have offered it to me, I would have left. I would have went and seen it, but
I'm hoping I'll get into the Batman versus Superman one. I got some pretty good friends over at Warner Brothers, so I'm crossing my fingers here.
I would love that. That would be awesome.
What else you got?
So, did you hear the explosion with YouTube this week?
Oh boy, I watched that happen in real time because the guy, one of the people who got flagged, 8-Bit Eric, is actually a friend of mine. He works a lot with the Game Chasers out of Texas. And the Fine Brothers, my God, if they'd shut their mouth for another month, they would have got away with it. It's ridiculous. So for those of you that don't know, the Fine brothers basically tried to copyright and trademark, though the two are not interchangeable. That's important to remember. Basically, it was React World. There was Elders React, Teens React, Kids React, blah, 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 blah. So they wanted to create their own managed content network. A really good way to think about this is think about how there's American Idol and The Voice. You look at that format, and you know how you see different versions in different countries?
Oh, yeah.
That's what they wanted to do, but with their idea. But because it's on the internet, people see it as, no, that's bad. And I can totally see that, and I think that's totally right. But it blew up in their face like a nuke.
Which I think's funny.
Like they had 14 million. They had like 14 million subscribers, and then you could see the count go down in real time to just. It got into 13 million something, but they were losing like 100 subs a minute at one point. It was insane just to watch this happen. And then everybody had their own thing, like Mega 64 did something on it, Machinima, I think some of the other pretty big kind of YouTubers, I think Boogie did. And it was just nuts the fact that they had to keep posting updates about this, the Fine brothers. And they all sounded very condescending up until their final apology. They're like, okay, guys, we're not going to do it anymore. We're really, really, really sorry. This is going to change the direction of their career for years to come. This is going to be the sort of thing that gets referenced when anybody does business with them now. They're a tainted brand for at least the next six to 8 months.
Oh, yeah. And that's it. It's kind of sad for the fact that I enjoy their videos when they're the React thing, but you can't exactly trademark or copyright that when
they're trying to copyright
when everybody does it. That's all the internet is, though. Is in YouTube is all reaction videos. How are you going to try and capitalize on that when everybody does them?
Oh yeah, and and their idea isn't exactly super original because, I don't know, this has been going on since the 1940s. There were television shows based around this. Hell, do you remember when Bill Cosby did this?
No, but the thing
like
is,
kids
news.
say the darndest things. That's exactly what it was. And then the Fine brothers had the balls call out Ellen DeGeneres. She's like, "Hey, Ellen stole our idea, didn't give us any thanks. Bombard her Twitter and Facebook." I'm thinking, man, who in the hell is advising you? Like, seriously, their PR agent, I hope they took him or her back into the back of the building and beat them with a steel pipe.
Well, I think that they got too big for their britches, and they think that they were just God's gift to the internet, which nobody is, honestly. Everybody on the internet's replaceable, and that's what they don't seem to get, is that just as easily as you can grow your fandom,
you can disappear.
Oh yeah, you could disappear easily. Like there's been points, and I'm not saying I have a huge following because I don't. But like on this podcast, for instance, when some of the shows started getting kind of lax and kind of, half-assed, the listeners and everything else dropped on it like drastically. I'm starting to get the numbers back now, but for a time there, it was kind of like, why am I doing this? Because like I kind of fell off the rock there in half the time, like the show either sounded phoned in or I just kind of forgot what the heck I was actually doing when I did it. So and that goes with anybody, like anybody online does this. It's
oh yeah, like when I left Channel Awesome and back out with the glasses, I lost a good chunk of fans with that, and I've still got a pretty significant following just because I've never stopped. But the thing is about the Fine brothers, they're arrogant about it. And that's what truly screwed them up. There also were a number of attorneys that work in internet law and stuff like that. I think the big one is called Attorneys React. And I think the guy's name is Ryan Morrison. He sums it up really, really, really well. And if the Fine brothers had kept quiet for another 30 days, there's a point when you file for the trademark or copyright, I can't remember which, where the public can appeal it. But because they made this big announcement video, now they're totally pooched. Now they've withdrawn their what they had filed thank Christ for that. And they're not the only big company to have done this recently either. Sony tried to trademark Let's Play, like last month or in December or something like that, and it blew up in their face too. Nintendo tried to do something as well. So I don't know. It's like the internet. It's this huge, wide open space. It's still very much the Wild West. There's a lot of money to be made, but it's so gray in terms of how it's interpreted legally, how the public perceives you, and like you said, you can be replaced at any minute. Like hell, do you remember sites like friggin' E-Bombs World and all that stuff? You don't hear about them
E-Bombs
much now.
World, Albino Black Sheep, yeah.
Yeah, or like Dig. Like it's not
Stupid
hard to
videos.
just disappear overnight. Do I think the Fine Brothers are going anywhere? Sadly not. But you know what?
Maybe they'll
Learn their
learn.
lesson for now.
Yeah, for now.
Give it time. We will be talking about something equally as insipid in probably about 8 months.
From them, you think?
I don't think from them. I think you'll see it from another popular YouTuber, because I know another person who's starting to realize how powerful they really are is PewDiePie. PewDiePie has like millions upon millions of subscribers. He's the most popular YouTuber ever, and he's going to be starting his own quote-unquote network where him and other YouTubers have more creative freedom, so they can break away from like Maker Studios, which is owned by Disney, and like Full Screen and all those guys, because he now has the millions of dollars to drop them without a second thought. And I think you'll see something stupid happen. Mind you, PewDiePie, aka Felix, he listens to his fans, and he does listen to which way the wind's blowing, so I don't see him making a catastrophically stupid decision, but it wouldn't surprise me if there's a couple of big stumbles along the way, but that's just me speculating.
See, I don't listen to them or even care about them. Like, they aren't even on my radar, really, but
I know
most
who he
of the
is,
ones,
I just don't watch his videos.
yeah, most of the ones I'm familiar with, I think are very kind of, I don't know, more down to earth and kind of know their fandoms and kind of like I would almost argue like, because I watch like the Warp Zone, or I watch like Screen Junkies, who's, they're monetizing their stuff, but they're doing it with their all their own original content. It's it's not even, they're not trying to like copyright or trademark names of stuff per se. And then I listen to like epic rap battles and stuff like that. So I mean, it's and they all seem to be pretty genuine and kind of more interested in their fans than necessarily. I mean, obviously they're all interested in money, because who isn't, that's trying to do media or something that they love. But you can just tell kind of by how people are in their videos.
Absolutely.
So I think moving on from that, Blanchard brought this up, and I didn't hear about it, which was surprising, because normally I see this kind of stuff right away. Mattel and Hasbro are talking about a merger.
Well, I'm trying to think who that would leave in terms of big brands. Like, if Hasbro and Mattel merge, you would have Playmates Toys, and who else?
Which is just Turtles.
Yeah, which is just Turtles, and there's a few other brands under them, but not too many. You'd have the high-end collector stuff like NECA and McFarlane. They're niche.
You'd have who makes? Well, no, Mattel makes DC Comics stuff.
Yeah, so you'd
and
have them
Hasbro makes
under
Marvel.
one banner, more or less.
Yeah, they'd all be under one banner, which
You
would
have
be
Jack
interesting.
Pacific.
And then I think you get, you get your like, you'd have Hot Wheels, and which is just cars, but I don't know. I mean, I think you're pretty much nailing that. I think because those are the top two.
Yeah, like, I don't see this as a terrible thing. However, though, certain companies have pros and cons. Like, I like Mattel's figures because when they do something right, they do them really, really, really well. Like their DC Direct stuff is really well done. Or their DC figures in general. Like they did the movie Masters for Batman a couple years ago. They were really, really well done. Because I have a little Michael Caine that lives in my house. I don't have the Joseph Gordon-Levitt though. I'm still looking for that figure. And and Hasbro has Transformers, My Little Pony, Star Wars, and Mattel has Barbie, and I think Monster High as well. So you have these juggernaut brands. They could accomplish so much, but I wonder like what else they could do. Because can you imagine the possibility of crossovers there? Like you could have Monster High and Equestria Girls come together. Now you could have like My Little Pony could literally show up in Oh no, wait, that makes no sense. But you could have Barbie in My Little Pony. You could have a Barbie themed Transformer, which is actually kind of a neat idea when you really think about it.
You could have G.I. Joe with Barbie.
Yeah, I mean, it would be so cool. Ultimately, I would like Barbie's Corvette as a repaint of Trax. I would totally be okay with that.
A transforming Barbie car.
Or, man, or for like a gag, I'd love for them to do Barbie's Safe House. It's like a G.I. Joe repaint, like camo or something. That could be a lot of fun.
What would be funnier, and I've been known to do this before, if because this has been a possibility before too, that because I believe it says 2 decades ago, almost to the day, Mattel withdrew a $5.2 billion offer for Hasbro, looking like Mattel was going to buy Hasbro. But it says Hasbro approached Mattel with the idea of merging their companies together. So I don't know why that would even be.
Because I could see I could see Hasbro wanting some of the IPs from them. Like
But
Barbie.
I just wonder what name they're going to stick with.
I think they'd probably keep the brands together. Like in their
Hasbro Mattel?
Yeah, you'd probably get that, or they keep the brands that are known to be associated with Mattel
No,
Hasbro with Hasbro.
I meant that, but like who would be the parent company if they merged?
Oh, Hasbro,
like,
without a doubt, because they got Disney backing.
Yeah, that's true. And this is my prediction, though. If that actually goes through, Disney will buy up Hasbro.
Oh God, yeah, they'd be stupid not to.
Because what they would do is wait until this goes through, and then they'd be like, all right, yoink, mine.
Yeah, exactly, because they'd have so many IPs under one house.
Not only would Disney own the rights to, like, your Marvel, your Star Wars, and all that stuff in making just the films, then you have Marvel Comics, then you have the toys. So they would just be one big powerhouse all on their own.
Well, wasn't there a rumor a couple weeks ago that supposedly if certain DC movies don't do well, DC Comics could be done?
That was kind of a rumor. I don't think that's.
But just imagine if this merger goes through, they have all the toy rights.
I think eventually Disney's going to end up owning DC Comics too, but
I wouldn't see that as a bad thing. Because you think about it, Disney knows how to market.
Well, not only that,
but
well, and I think Marvel's kind of got, especially with them reacquiring Star Wars, I think that they've kind of got the right, I don't know, direction, I would say, because DC just doesn't know what the hell they're doing anymore. In any regard, unless it's television or animated.
Yeah.
So.
I'm excited to see where this could go.
Yeah, I am too. I'm definitely excited to see it. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know if you saw this. This is something that I'm sure you have. Transformer fan and all. Masterpiece Optimus Primal.
No, I have not seen this. Actually, it's weird. I only pay attention to the movie news. I know, terrible fan.
You pay attention to the movie news? I ignore it.
Well, it's funny because I want to collect Transformers, but every time I do, I end up having to sell them. So I'm thinking I'm just going to save myself the heartache. But come on, Steve, give it to me straight, man. Tell me about Masterpiece Optimus Primal. Does it look cool?
Oh, it looks spectacular.
How much is it?
There's new images like popping out all the time of the figure, and if you have the 30th anniversary Rhinox or 30th anniversary Rat Trap, which are show accurate, I should add. Primal is show accurate, like to a T. Like every detail is exactly like the animation model, and he's got both the wrist mounted.
Is that real fur?
No. That's a custom job that somebody
Okay.
did. This one is accurate to the show model, and he's got pop out face plates.
That'll be really cool.
I'm thinking it's going to pop out kind of like how Masterpiece Ironhide does. You press the little thing on the top of the head where the arch thing is that's in the center of the head, and it'll pop the face piece out. But you can change he's got like an open mouth reaction. He's got the face plate that goes over and covers his mouth, and then they got the one with him like with a straight smile or a straight mouth and then a smile. So it does that, and his beast mode also has changing faceplates. The details with the hydraulics with the legs are exact. The heads more or less just flip while within the chest, like the beast head and the other piece. Trying to pull up the next image. It has full detail. Like he has both swords, he has both those wrist-mounted cannons, and he's got the shoulder mounted cannons too. So I mean, it's pretty freaking spectacular. I cannot wait until they release, like, because they aren't in color. They're gray model, like, completely, but it's so show accurate. I'm gonna have to own it.
So I'm guessing, will they have this available to show at Toy Fair?
I would assume so. It looks infinitely better than the original toys that I sold off years ago because they didn't look show accurate, and I didn't have room for them anymore. So now that
those ones weren't terrible though, or at least
they weren't terrible, but they weren't great either.
I think in terms of the kind of Beast Wars toys, I remember Megatron was really good. The original one, even the Transmetal one, was like kind of fun too. The original Optimus Primal, Cheetor looked pretty good. Rhinox looked like crap if I remember right.
It did.
Cheetor, Scorponok, Waspinator, or Buzzsaw.
The spiders looked like crap.
I did think Black Arachnia was terrible, but she was just a repaint more or less, which really kind of...
Yeah, she was crap, but they came out with a Legends version, which is based off the Transformers animated figure, and they remolded parts of it and repainted it, and it looked just like Black Arachnia from the animated series.
One of the things I did love about those figures, though, ball joints.
Oh, yeah.
What a wonderful invention.
Yeah, they were spectacular. Like, the newer stuff, they're like these weird click rivet hinges on them now that are cheap plastic. Like, they're gonna snap if you transform them enough times. Because like I have the Generations Megatron, which is the tank G1 Megatron, which just to get him to look right, you have to get an upgrade kit. So it's on top of that. But his rivet joints in them are like sheer crap, and they don't have like enough
tension, maybe.
They don't have enough, like, not only tension, but like they feel like if you pop the arms and the legs just enough, you're gonna break them.
I hate it when things feel that brittle.
And I don't think it'll happen right away, but like the older the toy gets, the more susceptible it's going to become, because like some of my toys, the older they get, like I haven't transformed some of these in years. Like I've just left them in one mode, and then I went to transform them and just about snapped parts of them because they were so stiff. Because the plastic just doesn't want to, because of the way it was designed, doesn't want to bend.
There was one toy I came so close to breaking. It was the Alternators line, and it was Alternators Grimlock. I have never had a set of stiffer legs on a Transformer, I was pretty sure I was going to snap them. And I hate it when toys are that brittle, and it has something to do with the hardness of the plastic too. Because if it's too hard, it sounds weird, but it's weak enough that it will snap. I don't know. I really think the best Transformers for your money, truthfully, it's the Masterpiece ones, but not exactly play friendly.
Yeah, I didn't like the alternators line all that much. The thing that I'm excited for is I'm really excited for this figure. I cannot wait for it to come out. I really can't wait for it to come out because I'm gonna have to buy it. I hope that the Beast Wars Megatron's next.
Buying Transformers for this figure.
Well, and this is the funny thing. This would be the first Masterpiece I'm genuinely interested in since the very first Masterpiece came out, because I have the very first Masterpiece, MPO1 Optimus Prime, who still to this day dwarfs the size of every other Masterpiece figure.
I wish I still had my Masterpiece Prime. The only other ones I really wanted is I really wanted Prowl. And I think there was a really nice look, and there was a really nice looking Starscream, but they had one that was based on a comics version called Sunstormer, something like that. I really liked too.
Yeah,
someday.
I wouldn't mind owning the Starscream, or like say Galvatron, or like a Scourge if they eventually came out with one. I'm really wanting like Beast Wars and Beast Machines figures. Like I want like a Beast Machines Megatron. Where he's got the cloak, but he turns into the dragon.
That would be really cool.
Because they never made one that was like, the one they came out with was like a deluxe, and it was really, really cheap looking and kind of shoddy in design. And the Beast Wars one, see, because if they design one for the Dragon Megatron of Beast Wars, all they would need is an upgrade kit for a Masterpiece Beast Machines one, because there's just simply like the wings, you could just make them so they clasp together, and then there's the drop down part with the robo arms and the metal grate that goes over Megatron's head, and then you'd be set. Like, but yeah, I've been dreaming big about that for like almost a decade now. So anyways, I'm really excited for this Primal, and I'm hoping that they come out with a Megatron to go with it, because that would it would make the pair just that much more memorable for me.
I would love, and then I guess we should probably kind of move on. I would love to get a Masterpiece Air Razor if that ever becomes a possibility. Loved her character design, and I don't. Is there a Masterpiece RC?
I don't know,
because I would like that one too, especially if it was based upon the Dreamwaves artwork, where she's got like the dual pistols.
See, I like Dreamwave art better than I do the IDW.
Oh, hands and shoulders above. Totally agree with you. I like some of the IDW art, but the Dreamwave stuff, that is my G1 Transformers. Oh, sorry, excited.
Yeah, well, with it being 20 years of Beast Wars, I'm kind of surprised that they haven't had more of the original figures kind of come back.
I think they re-released some of them, but I don't think they sold well.
No, it wasn't that they didn't sell well. They only came out with a few of them. Because, like, I have the 30th anniversary ones that came out. Well, I'm missing Rhinox still, but I have the rest of them. And they're spectacular.
Rhinox would probably be the one I'd want to get first, because I liked the update they gave. And he looks, like I said, show accurate. He looks really, really good. Except them big friggin' guns, too, which always really impressed me. But anyway.
But, yeah. So I guess we could talk gaming before we take a quick break.
This makes me so sad. If this is a story I think you're going to read.
The one about open. Damn it, open. That must be one of the articles that didn't want to load right. No matter. I'll pull it up anyway. So it says EA reveals Mass Effect Andromeda, Titanfall 2, and new Battlefield release windows. Mass Effect Andromeda, which, by the way, looks sweet by the promo image, it says that they're anticipating between October 2016 and March 2017.
My guess is it'll be delayed to as close to the end of the financial quarter as possible. I don't think it's going to be holiday. I think it'll be first quarter 2017, and that bums me in. But in their defense, I'd much rather have a much more polished and complete version than opposed to something that'll be rushed out and patched constantly. So I'm okay with waiting an extra couple of months. Plus, it gives me money to save up for the collector's edition, which I really hope they outdo themselves. Because Mass Effect 3's collector's edition was okay. You could go above and beyond that, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. Titanfall 2 excites me because that will not be an Xbox One exclusive. So I'm really hoping they Respawn Entertainment, the company that's made of former Infinity Ward people, listened and actually gave us a half-decent campaign mode this time, because Titanfall was one of my favorite games for the Xbox One when it first came out, and I played that game like ridiculous amounts. Like I was like a Generation 10 pilot, which is basically that's like a prestige, and it was so much fun. Me and my buddy Jamie, the host of the Prototype on Twig, we would demolish people in that game, and it was the first time I felt competent in an FPS. So that's why Titanfall holds such a place in my heart. So I'm hoping Titanfall 2 is just as successful. They're promising there should be a new Battlefield game later on this year, probably for Christmas, because of course there is. So considering the last one, Battlefield Hardline, I liked it, but it got so goofy halfway through the storyline when you're no longer a cop, yet you can still arrest people. Figure that one out. So I don't know, considering how badly they botched Battlefield 4 on the next gen system, so much so they had to delay their like DLC plans for it. I'm surprised that game still has a very active server life.
What, Battlefield 4?
Yeah, I'm really surprised.
Oh, I've been playing it, and it's always packed.
But then again, if it's on PC, you can mod the shit out of it, so that's probably why. I love the game. And with Battlefield, Star Wars finally getting its DLC outlined and announced for until 2017. Good luck. I don't know. I'm starting to lose a little bit of faith in EA, but hey, if you give me a good Titanfall, you give me a good Mass Effect, and if Mirror's Edge 2 doesn't suck, we can be pals. Oh.
Yeah.
Kind of killed the momentum there, didn't I?
Yes, you did. So yeah, with that, we'll take a quick break and come back.
Welcome to the Wicked Radio Network.
Want to interact with the show? You can contact us in the following ways. You can call the voicemail line 502-526-5821. You can email us feedback@geekcastradio.com. You can visit the episode post on geekcastradio.com or alteredgeek.com. You can get a hold of us on Twitter @alteredgeek. Look for us every week on geekcastradio.com, of course, Stitcher Smart Radio, iTunes, Blog Talk Radio, and alteredgeek.com. And now, back to the show. And we're back. So, gonna get into the Super Altered Geek, which is the superheroes segment. So Justice League Action is coming to Cartoon Network, which makes me sad because Cartoon Network just kind of murders shows. But it's going to have Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill return as Batman and Joker.
Have they cast Superman yet? Like, did Tim Daly come back?
No, they're not having anybody else come back. That's from tragic. The original, which is bonkers. So yeah, that kind of makes me sad, but that
kind of shows you where they want to put the money for that show, They really want it to be Batman and play off of that popularity.
Well, it's going to have Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman as the main three. And it's going to be... It's very cartoony looking, like better than It's like if you mix the Teen Titans with the old Justice League, you kind of get that kind of vibe from it.
It'll be interesting. I mean, I'll check it out.
But it's going to have Kevin Conroy reprise as Batman, which is awesome. Be the first time he's been on an animated series as Batman, like not animated movie or game, but series since the Justice League cartoons. It says this will make his 25th year with the character, which is awesome. If only he had Bruce Wayne's money for retirement. And then his counterpart, obviously, is Mark Hamill as the Joker. Will make his return for Justice League action. James Woods will be Lex Luthor. Diedrich Bader, the voice of Batman on Batman Brave and the Bold, as Booster Gold. And many more thus far unannounced voice actors.
I really wish they gave Lex Luthor to Clancy Brown again.
I wish they would have, too.
But James Woods, not a bad choice. I really liked him as Owlman. I think that was in Justice League Crisis on Two Earths. So, I'm okay with this, actually. That's not terrible.
Yeah, he can play the dick pretty well in that. So it's going to be a different format from the previous Justice League shows with 11-minute episodes, similar to their comedy series Teen Titan Go. Since the creative team is full of DC Animation alumni, Sam Register from Teen Titans Go, which doesn't inspire, he's executive producing. Butch Lukic, which is from Justice League and Batman Beyond. Alan Burnett from Batman the Animated Series. Jim Krieg from Green Lantern the Animated Series, also producing. But it's Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman leading the DC heroes.
I don't like the idea of 11-minute episodes. I'd much rather have the full 22 minutes dedicated to one story.
Yeah, that's kind of my... Yeah, there's supposed to be younger characters, too. They're going to have Flash, Shazam, Constantine, Blue Beetle, Darkseid,
I would
Booster
love
Girl.
if they got Matt Ryan to come do Constantine's voice, because he's a good voice actor. I mean, he did Edward Kenway in Assassin's Creed 4, and he is Constantine. So I hope somehow they can just back up a suitcase full of money to him or something. But that would be my casting.
Speaking of crossovers, I think this is really funny. Supergirl and Flash are going to have a crossover episode where Flash joins in Supergirl in late March.
That's exciting, and that opens up so many possibilities. That means the networks are willing to cooperate.
Well, and the guy that does that Hollywood hype or whatever, that guy, I can't remember his actual name, but he posted, "This means that Superman exists in the Flash Arrow universe."
Yes, it does. It opens up so many possibilities. Now, but then again, will they play it off as a multiverse story?
See, that's what I'm wondering, because, like, Flash can, jump through time and everything. What would be funnier is if that's Earth 2.
Well, there was talk, too, where they were talking about maybe Tom Welling putting on the tights one more time to play Superman in a Smallville version of The Flash.
Yeah, they've tossed it around, but I don't know if he'll actually do it. I know he doesn't actually want to wear the suit, but he might if it's just a one-off. That's the nice part about The Flash. They can go anywhere and change anything. But I think that's awesome. The other thing that kind of made me think last week with... I don't know if you're caught up on Flash or Arrow or not, but this is like last week's episode, not this week's. But they gave Felicity a new nickname. The Arrow called her Firewall.
Oh, that's cool.
And she's like, "What's that?" And he says, "Your code name." And he says, "Oracle was already taken."
That's interesting.
And I was like, and I think that it was meant to like kind of fly by a little bit, but at the same time, it was meant to make you think.
That would be fascinating if somehow they could introduce a version of Batman. or at least.
And they've already mentioned like Bloodhaven, which is Nightwing's, and so and they've dropped hints at Green Lantern, from the Ferris Air. So I mean, there's been little hints all over about these other things that they could touch on at some point.
See, Warner Brothers would be stupid not to allow them to have the freedom to explore these places if they have a really good story to back it.
Yeah, see, that I can understand. Like, if they had a good story going, then, yeah, by all means, go for it. But if they don't have a good story, then, I would like I said, I would get, why they'd be apprehensive.
Well, yeah, because you don't want to blow a Superman story on Arrow saves cat out of a tree, or you don't want to blow a Batman story on just a one-off episode. That's your season finale, season opener, your mid-season, or a game-changer episode where somebody dies, somebody's introduced, or something that changes the status quo. They can't just be, next week Batman shows up because he buys a shawarma or something. Like, it has to make sense. So this is a really interesting possibility for the CW and CBS to be working together. Because that means, because we know Constantine exists in their universe, because now he's crossed over officially. Now Supergirl's crossed over. Hopefully the Flash shows up or Supergirl shows up on the Flash at some point. So there's so many possibilities where things could go, and I hope they don't drop the ball, especially with Legends of Tomorrow. Now they have the possibility of time travel. They can bring in alternate dimensions. You could get stuff like Superboy Prime in, and because that's not Superman, that's Superboy. That's completely different. He's a Looney Tune and crazy, but you could do stuff like that. So, you know what, man? This could be really, really, really cool, and that might be the thing to get me to start watching week to week again.
I would love that. I would honestly love that. But
now Marvel has to up its game, which means I better see, a reference to Matt Murdock on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or I better see something vice versa. I would love to see Luke Cage show up on S.H.I.E.L.D., even if it was just for a 5-minute cameo. Off your court, Marvel. Good luck.
One of the nice things I'm looking forward to that I was reading about is the Green Arrow is going to be in Legends of Tomorrow, but it's going to be a future him missing an arm and like scruffy face and.
Oh, that's the Dark Knight version.
Yeah,
that's going to be really, really sick.
It's going to suck though if they don't show Batman.
At least if they hint at him, I'd be okay with that.
True. I guess I could get behind that if they did that route. But yeah, I'm super stoked for everything that DC's got going on right now with that stuff. So yeah, we'll do this one before we go to the comments. But Superman got a new superpower.
And what can Superman now do?
You know how he could see radio waves before?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. He can now hear what's on the radio waves because in order to get his powers back, he threw himself on a giant pile of kryptonite and absorbed into him, and his eyes are now green, and because of that, he gained this new superpower. But he has all of his powers back. I guess this happened. What's that?
I said I wish you could see my face.
I guess 20 years ago that the same thing happened. Like he threw himself on a batch of kryptonite to jumpstart his powers, which in Supergirl all she had to do was like see, what's his face, fall down a elevator shaft.
Then again, I guess it's not as stupid as like a couple years ago in the comics. Superman could see auras, and he was super smart because he could just absorb books. So
you mean like the Flash did on Arrow last week?
See, at least that kind of makes sense.
But he can only retain it in his short-term memory for 30 minutes, and then he has to reread the book.
Yeah, see, I'm willing to do that because at least it's a MacGuffin they can use like once in a blue moon. But with Superman, I don't know. Now I'm backpedaling. You know what? Superman needs to get interesting and real quick because this is stupid. Oh, yes,
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement. I don't know what they plan on doing, but it's just not working anymore.
And it sucks. I'm a huge fan of Superman, but only the pre-New 52 stuff. And now they're screwing that up. So,
well, now they're soft rebooting and canceling some lines, and they're resetting the status quo for most of them.
Oh my God. I just want to walk into DC's office. Okay, which one of you buttholes is responsible? Come here. Knee him right in the crotch and go, smarten up, because the next time it won't be a knee. Ugh. Frustrated. But I'm good now.
Yeah. So, going to the listener comments, Ostron Prime says, questions of the week. I think the number one thing I look for in a podcast are funny or relatable hosts. I've listened to a lot of podcasts about films, TV series, etc. I've never seen the subject material. Even if he's never seen it, it's fun of returning each week to hear what they have to say. Yeah, we'll be covering our reasoning for that next week because we're missing a guy. So it would be more interesting if the three of us.
Be ever so sorry it ever met him.
Yeah. He was like the intermediary between the shows. He says, I'll be the one to say it. I have no issues with last week's inclusion with the sports commentator. I had no idea that she was talking about, but it's okay. It's a one-off. Now there's a segment for sports on the show, which, this has been kind of answered on the site, but for those that hadn't read it, it's not going to be a continuous thing. I do not care for sports at all. Blanchard
sports
knows
fans
more about
will
it
tear you apart if you're not ridiculously accurate.
Well, it isn't even that, because we do that with superheroes, so we're literally about the same as a sports commentator.
Yeah, but these guys will fight you in the street.
What says that a geek wouldn't fight you in the street wearing cosplay?
Fair enough.
So anyways, yeah, so he says, please don't take it the wrong way. Talking about other topics or other new Batman vs. Superman news is good. And then looking at comments, it was enjoyed by a lot of listeners, which, yes, it was. So glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, it was a one-off. I don't plan on having continuous sports coverage. There will be other segments in the show. We do have some fun stuff planned in the future.
What? You should almost only do sports stuff when there's a big thing. Like, Super Bowl makes sense.
When is that?
Sunday. You if there's a big event happening that matters, maybe the finals for a season, yeah, you should definitely invite that sports girl back on. I think that'd be really great. Good, actually.
Yeah. Brad Lincoln says, I like the ideas of you guys doing different segments. I do have to say the Mike and Sports Gal Pal section was abrupt this episode. I for a second I switched to a different podcast by accident and warning or heads up. Yeah, I threw that in there because we were kind of talking about Mike and making fun of him, and then it was kind of that was the only place I could think to put it instead of actually moving it to the end of the show. Yeah, that typically won't happen. I just didn't know where to put him because he'd already recorded it, and we got talking, and we just didn't really know which way we were going. So conversation traveled, and we rode the boat. So yeah. And then as far as the commercials, I've talked with the provider I was on a webinar today, so that was interesting learning about the advertising, how it works, and why a shampoo commercial shows up for people and not for others. And I was because nobody was speaking up, and I was saying something about it, and I was like, yeah, any particular reason we're hearing about shampoo on a geek podcast that has to do with TV and cartoons and comics and movies? And they're like, oh, sometimes they're tailored to what, the cookies type stuff are on the computer, or they're, I was like, yeah, but I wish there was a way to choose the category of commercials. So I hope that gets fixed, but I can choose where they go. That's why I'm trying to leave breaks. So Yeah, that about rounds up the stuff. So, do you have anything that you want to ask the listeners, or
Ask the listeners. I guess, what do you guys want to hear from us? I mean, I've got tons of stories, both from my professional background and just being a nerd in general. I don't know, basically, what do you enjoy about the show? Do you like it when we rag on Mike? Because I find it hilarious. But I also don't want to be like a complete dickweed either. But that's sort of my thing. Would you guys be interested in running Geekcast/Twig gaming nights? Like, I own a next generation console, but I also own a 360. Would love to get together with people and do maybe Smash Brothers or Call of Duty or whatever you guys want to do. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Because I know you guys cover gaming content, but not as in-depth as, say, I cover it. So I'd be open to doing something with GCRN and Twig and throw down some joysticks, because Street Fighter's coming out soon. So what do you think, guys? At Birdman Twig on Xbox and at Birdman Dodd on PSN. And I think it's Birdman Dodd on Nintendo as well. So get a hold of me, man. I want to throw down some games.
I think on Xbox, I think on BW Megatron, but Beast Wars Megatron or something to that realm. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And then if you're playing on Origin on Battlefield 4, I'm Steve Megatron or Steve Dash Megatron or something like that. I think it's Steve Megatron. I'm on the you're gonna laugh at this, but guess what my clan is called that I'm in?
I don't know.
Fart.
Classy, Steve.
It's Fast Action Response Team. It's not my clan, it's the one I joined.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah. So everybody's like, it's another fart on the server.
I thought of one acronym. It's completely homophobic. I'm sorry, but I think it's a really funny one. This was something Activision did about like almost a decade ago for Call of Duty, and they had Friends Against Grenade Spam. What does that say? Aha!
Friends
Against Grenade Spam.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
sorry, that's funny, but it's also wrong, but clever. It's kind of like when South Park and those guys did Team America World Police, and they had Film Actors Guild. So, same thing, but I don't know. I just thought that was terrible. I'm sorry, that's my inner 13-year-old boy showing, but that's also wrong. Can we please get out of this hole that I'm digging myself in?
That's what he said.
Yeah, whoa!
Oh, that's horrid. So yeah, before we dig a ditch and lie in it, so what do you have going on next week?
Well, I promise you can punch me in the face if I don't get this done by Saturday. We are going to have the second episode of the season for Boss to Roll. I was going to record it, but I just haven't been feeling it the last couple days. We also decided to ditch the January topic show because we just couldn't get everything rolling, but instead we're going to have our Deadpool topic show ready for the week of release for Deadpool. So we're going to do that. So that should be a lot of fun. I'm actually going to... a fan last summer, I think it was my Cam, I think his name was, sent me a huge box of graphic novels, and one of them was The Essential Deadpool. So I'll be going through that in the next week. So that'll be the Twig topic show. Still recording episodes of Terrible Warriors. We just started our second volume of Embers of the Jedi. The campaign is tentatively called Cry of Fate, which... I think you guys will like that. Let's just say #NeverSafe from Space Bears. What else we got going on? Rad is coming back this month. Street Fighter V. I'm just waiting to see whether Mad Catz is going to send me one of the TEs for it, which is the Tournament Edition Fight Sticks. And what else do I got going on? I'm also going to have Call of Duty back on my PlayStation, so I'd love to get out there and use that as maybe one of my other accounts because the DLC comes out or is out right now for that. So I'd love to play some of that. I'd also love to get a team together for zombies because I don't have anybody on Xbox who plays. So other than that, that's what I've got going on.
Yeah, I don't have that much going on other than doing the show, and then I'm still. Oh, I'm going to be doing. People are going to laugh at me for this. I'm doing that superhero thing again, but I'm doing the alumni teacher assistant thing on it again.
That's cool.
I really enjoy doing it. So like I'm one of like 20 that are, because they cut down the pool of TAs this time, and I happen to respond quickly enough. So I get the artwork at the end of it for helping out, but like I enjoy helping other people. Plus, it gives me ideas too. So, but yeah, it's fun. So that's what I'm gonna be starting soon. So yeah, and if anybody's interested in doing like the gaming thing, like Mike brought up, or doing any of the other stuff, just let us know in the comments.
Absolutely. I would also love to hear what people think about some of the TV shows that me and Steve have differing opinions on. Like, I'd love to hear what people think of a show like, say, Arrested Development. Why do you like it, or why do you hate it? Or why do you like superhero TV, or why do you hate that in particular, sort of thing. I also have this other idea, Steve. Kind of like how you guys have, like, maybe this could be a once-a-month thing for Altered Geek. I think this would actually be kind of fun. You know how people have book clubs?
Yeah.
What if we had a TV show club? Your goal each month is just to watch the pilot episode of a show you have no interest in, just to try something new. Expand your horizons.
I would try that.
Yeah, because I think it would get you exposed to things, get me exposed to stuff, and Blanchard, if he ever gets out of the Arby's bathroom, get him exposed to more things as well. Because I think that helps us grow as geeks and nerds and shows we're not narrow, closed-minded people. So what do you, the people, the audience, think of that idea?
Sounds good.
Do these pants make my ass look fat?
So, how can the listeners get a hold of you?
Well, the listeners can donate to PayPal if you want to get a hold of me, you can reach me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Birdman Dodd. Like I said, I'm always around, always responding to fans and everything else. And if you yell my name, I'll probably just come around. I'm like Johnny Wishbone.
And you can get a hold of me on Twitter at SCP21. That's probably the best place to get a hold of me. Or on the website, geekcastradio.com. So, until next time, get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks.